Hello, hello. How is everybody? Had a little bit of time off myself. My son got married in Italy, so we had a little bit of vacation out there. So we're glad to be back. And Service Desk has been released just as I was leaving the door. So beginning of September. So if you haven't noticed, ZENworks Service Desk 8.3.1 was released, and we're going to cover what's new in it today. Okay. Excuse me. So first off, what's ZENcast Live? It's the ZENworks community coming together, trying to understand more and learn more about what the ZENworks products has. It's for ZENworks admin, ZENworks community, and really anybody interested in ZENworks at all. Excuse me, I gotta clear my throat. Hang on. Okay, and we meet the first and third Tuesday of every month at 9 o'clock Mountain Time, North America. And hello, Don. Hey, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And we will be, if you want to see the details and recordings, you can always go out to the YouTube support and training channel where we not only have our products, but all the Micro Focus products in here. And if you look under IM&G Unified Endpoint Management, you have the ZENworks portfolio. So you'll see those there and can actually see all the different videos that are available to you that have been published. So be aware that that's available to you, and there's a lot of good stuff out there. A little bit of house cleaning. Be sure to subscribe and log in as Dawn did so we can chat if you have any questions regarding any of the topics that we bring up today, or if there are things off topic or you want to see in future ZENcast, please let us know. You can email me at zen@microfocus.com or just put it in the chat, the different topics you'd like to see, and we'd be happy to try and get those put in for you. A lot of these have been your requests, so we appreciate that feedback. So in the posted video descriptions, you'll be able to actually see the links to download the particular slide deck that are related to that particular video. So beware that in any reference links. For instance, we'll go ahead. Today's presentation is there, so feel free to download that, and you'll have all the links within the particular presentation so that you can review them later. Some of the schedule. Today's what's new. October was new. September was what's new. October is not what's new. We're going to have some other things moving on. I didn't update this slide, but I believe what we're doing is we're actually doing ZSD automating ticketing process and tasks. So we're going to automate that. And then update 3 is coming out real soon. So we'll probably have what's new on update 3 as well soon. So be aware that those are coming. And these are some of the future requests that have come in so that we can get those on the presentations for you. Okay, again, you can email me at zen@microfocus.com or put it in chat. Today, we're covering a little bit about the community. This is a community page for solutions and videos. There's new things that come out, both TIDs and cool solutions and videos. And so we just want to make sure you have the links to those. So by downloading these, you can actually see get to the links so that you can see what's going on with these particular pages. So this is really good. It's a what's new, what's your version, and it's a version currency campaign specifically for Service Desk. There's also one for ZCM, and it has things of how and why to upgrade, the version comparison charts, so you can see what's in each version and the new enhancements that are available, things like that. So be aware that these new pages are there for you. Here's a ZCM page, how to upgrade from 2017, how to upgrade from 2020 to update 2. And we'll keep these updated as update 3 comes out, as 8.3.1 comes out. We want to keep these updated for you so you have an easy resource. There's other resources in here as well, joining the community and seeing what your version is, how to detect what your version is, different things like that. So that's good resources for you. There's a few things out there. Be sure the ZSD, I know the ZSD quarterly security patches or updates are available. The appliance up, those with appliances, we try and get those out quarterly. So be sure to check on uh, your online updates to get those security patches to keep your application or your appliance um, updated with all the security patches. Okay, it was just released last week, I think. So, and I believe it's for all the appliances for ZCM as well as um, ZRS and ZSD. Okay. There are some things to be aware of. These are just the latest things that have come through either support channels or through TIDS. And one is changes in Android devices. If you have Android devices in ZENworks, you want to check this out. There's a team collaboration and UEM community out here, which you're probably aware of if you've gone to the community, and there's blogs out here as far as what the latest things are happening. There's a ZENworks appliance in Veeam backup um, discussion that was going on. So if you have questions about you have Veeam or appliance backups, be sure to check that out. There's also a delegate role that prevents stalling of requested services. So it's another video that's out there. It's recently released late June, and it tells you how to set up your delegate role for ZSD. Okay. And then some of these older ones are major Google disruptive changes for Android devices and how ZCM is, how Micro Focus is counteracting that and making it so you don't have any stoppage of work. Okay, that's the community. There's other things like cool solutions in TIDS, security scans, crashing the ZSD server, how to circumvent that, satellite rollup fails, 403, how to circumvent that. So different things here in the list. We won't go over them all, but just so that you know that these are here, I try to put the latest ones in here so you can have an easy, quick link to those particular technical documents. Okay. All right, the community. You know about the community. We brought it up earlier that we have ideas exchange. We try to go through these. We try to keep these going so we know. Make sure you vote, sign in and vote for these. That way we know which ones are popular, which ones have the most use cases. We can try and get those feature sets in. We don't always get the feature sets in right away, but and that could be because of coding, because of timing, different things. So, but we do pay attention to these. So please put in your ideas exchange. They're very valuable to us. There are other live casts, just so you know. There's Filer, Groupwise Enterprise Messaging, and OES iPrint, and that's done by Robin Redgrave out in the UK. And you can sign up and register through these links so that you can get that information if you have those products and need to know more about that. It's similar to the ZENcast, and he goes through different product features and ways to do things and troubleshooting and so forth. There's also a Cuppinger Cole analyst report out there that you could click on the link and it'll take you to there as well. Some of the events coming up, TTP, if you're not familiar with TTP, it's great for collaboration community and having events. They're going to there's a Technical Insights Conference, which will be virtual in October, and another face-to-face in December. So if you can get out to India, I'll tell you what, it's a great conference. It's a great setting, just really done right. So I've been out there one time, and it's just a fabulous time to visit with face to face with developers and your colleagues, and understanding how the uses of the different products. Okay. So if you haven't looked at TTP, check that out. We're going to cover a couple of the versions that we have currently in play, which is Update 2. Remember, you have to have 998 in place first before you can do the FTF servers, but they have cumulative updates now. FTF server 1009, which is the 1009 update, is available now. So you can then go from 998 directly to 1009 and get all the cumulative updates and not have to wait for a new release or grab an FTF or anything. Okay. Imaging update came out in July, so that's there. There is a couple what's new and upgrade cookbooks out there for ZCM as well. ZRS 7.8 is out there, and they're going to release another one with update 3, I believe. I believe it's 8, but I'm not positive. They normally release it when they release a ZCM version. And ZSD 8.3.1 is out there. They're the what's new README in the cookbook. Links here, as well as MFDC 22.6. We are currently working on Micro Focus. We're changing the name to hybrid workspaces because there's a great application distribution component of what we know as desktop containers. It's going to be hybrid workspaces, and you can actually stream your applications across the internet securely, and being able to tap into the data if you configure the integrations into Filer, Google OneDrive, those types of things. So if you haven't looked at MFDC recently, it has a great remote worker aspect to it, and you'll see the name change in the next few weeks to hybrid workspaces. So don't be alarmed. It's a great product that we have, adding on that application streaming server. Some of the futures. Update 3 is coming anytime now. There's some great enhancements on it, on-demand bundles and patches and so forth. ZSD 8.4 is going to be January, February timeline. We're going to have two-factor authentication with AAF Lite. We're going to be modernizing more of the interface and have some of those things. We're hoping to have a global save button. If you use Service Desk, sometimes to save, you have to scroll and save and do these things, and we're going to try and make it easier for you. But these are all from your ideas about using the interface and getting those features in there. Also, hybrid workspaces 22.8 will be out end of this month. Okay, and we will be renaming it from Micro Focus Desktop Containers. Okay. All right, and so a little recap of the last time. We had Zocker. What was Zocker? How do we use it? What's its function? And those types of things. We had 3 developers on, CK, Manny, and Guru, and they went through it. You can easily find that on the support and training website for the YouTube channel, and you'll be able to get more information about Zocker directly from the developers by reviewing that particular ZENcast. Okay. Today's agenda looks long, but we're going to cut to the chase. We're going to go through each one of these, anywhere from new and upgrades to authentication to the feature sets. Okay, and again, a lot of these are just developing this particular application to make it more efficient and functional for you as the user and technicians. We're going to first cover the what's new, and if you download this particular PDF, as I put in the chat, you can get the what's new video. Also upgrading 8.3.1. Some of the requirements for the upgrade is online update. Very simple, very quick. Don't have to put in another VM in place and then do the transfer. It is just an online update that will take care of your upgrade, and it's very quick. There is a video on that, so if you select the link, it'll take you to that particular video, and you'll be able to see how to do that in full. User source. Okay, so we've expanded the user sources to Azure AD support, and we're going to, I think I have, no, not this one. Let's close this. There we go. Let's close this. So if we look at some of the support, I'll use this presentation as kind of my walkthrough so we can visually see it as well. We do have Azure AD, so if we went to user sources, this used to be labeled LDAP, but now it's user sources. And if you did new, you'd see in the drop down we now have an Azure AD directory. There is a video out there regarding the configuration of that and what it looks like. So obviously you're going to have a tenant ID, a client ID, and secret. I don't have mine configured for that right now, but you can see that that's what's requested. You do need to require that Azure permissions are set for user read all, group read all. All right, and then if you do import groups from Azure, you're going to also need those permissions as well. So be aware that that's done on the Azure side. so that you can actually get those particular users and things imported just fine. The other part is the login. Once you have it configured, I will select this one so you can at least see the particular login that comes up. I'll silence the sound there, and we'll get up to. So we have the normal login here, but if you have Azure AD, and this is probably too small, let's go like this. You'll notice it logs in with Azure AD once you put in the full credentials. So that will indicate, and if these credentials fail, it goes back to the login for ZSD, the normal login. So when it's configured with Azure AD and you put in the credentials, it'll presume with those credentials that it's logging into Azure AD. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Fairly simple to configure and easy to put in. If you're familiar with Azure AD, you'll know about the client and tenant and stuff, tenant IDs and stuff. So should be fairly straightforward for you. We do have the documentation updated on that as well. Okay. We've also expanded over to it. If there's any questions, please put them in chat. Happy to try and field those questions on the fly, or I'll get back to you. Email configuration is token based. You can configure token based now. So if you look at email and you're connecting to email, this looks normal, right? This is the normal setup. You can go IMAP, IMAP-S, POP, POP3S. Now we have MS Modern Authentication on both incoming and outgoing. We also have, if you select one of the secured sites, we have the Use OAuth on both incoming and outgoing. All right. If you do select the Use OAuth, you'll see that you have these required fields here and being able to get your tokens and so forth. Now, the good thing about MS Modern Authentication is if you select MS Modern Authentication, it'll get your tokens for you. It's tightly integrated with the MS libraries, and it will grab those tokens and put everything in play. But if you want to do something like Gmail or other email, you'd want to go into the other secure OAuth types, and then you'll have to get tokens and it'll expand. And there is a video out there on both of these, right? Being able to see how that actually functions and getting those tokens. And depending on who your provider is, obviously you go out to that site to get the token, and then you just cut and paste them into the access and refresh tokens. Now, if you were to do the outgoing as well, you'd have the same process, right? If you have a different outgoing server, or if you have an outgoing server that you want to change to. The other nice thing is you can have use OAuth, and let's say your other is just an SSL for outgoing. You can mix and match these. So to be clear, you can actually have different, depending on your different servers, if you have different servers for incoming and outgoing. Okay, so that works fairly effectively. You still have the certificates in here and so forth. And the video actually shows you on the directory side as well, a little bit of the directory side, so you can see how things are populated if you import groups and that types of things. Okay. All right. So that's email. We're getting in there now. As far as the next step is moving to beyond Azure AD and doing other things like Jump Cloud or other types of user source supports, and we're working on getting those as well to make it a little more generic. So if you don't have the Microsoft directories, you can go other avenues as well, and that's what the OAuth does for you as well, right? The OAuth is good for being able to just do like Gmail, setting up Gmail. Okay, if you have your corporate for Gmail. All right, and again, how to get to those would be selecting the IMAP or POP3. Will get you the Use OAuth. You don't have to, but everybody's slowly moving towards the token base. So there we are. All right. Hope that's helpful. All right, some of the things within Service Desk, you can reassign a tech to another team now. Okay, we had this in prior to 8.2, and we lost that functionality. Actually, we lost that functionality going to 8.3. So we've incorporated that back in. The one thing about reassigning to another tech is it'll go to layer 1. Now, the next step that we have in the process, because it's a little more detailed, is getting to any tech, whether they're level 1, 2, or 3 on that particular team. But right now, if you reassign a tech to another team, it'll go to users and technicians in level 1. Okay. The one thing that I'm real excited to announce regarding the next one is the expansion of notes here. And it seems so simple, but if you're on a mobile device, or it just takes up a lot of real estate. How we had it before was you had this and you'd have to scroll to see the general information. Now, by default, it's collapsed, and you can see that how many notes are there, if there's any. But it's collapsible, which makes it really, really nice, and frees up that real estate, especially on those mobile phones and stuff. All right. The other thing, since I'm here, it's the request info enhancements. If you look at the notes, you can open up the notes, and you'll actually see up on the top the requests, ticket, and description, at least a portion of the description. The reason for that is we've had customer requests that they're working on a ticket, they open a note, they're starting to type, they're doing things, and then they leave and they get distracted. They come back, they don't know what the ticket was for. They can't remember what the ticket was for, which is very, very common and understandable. So we've now put that on the top so that you can see what those are. So again, that's your request. Even if you add a note, it automatically comes up on the top. So you have it there for you. So more information, the better, right? Being able to do that. The same thing is for attachments. You can see it here. We have it on the top. And if you open up attachments, you'll actually have that there for you. So that's exciting as far as being able to get those simple things. So again, the ideas exchange, put them in there. Those simple things are quick. These were real quick, easy adds to the product, which really gives it a lot of value when you're working in it day to day. So we appreciate all of those particular exchanges that you give us. If we go back to requests and go to the request list, we have a few things in here that are new, which is kind of exciting. One is, as you know, let me go full screen. As you know, when we went to the knowledge base, we could configure 2 to 15 columns, right? And we did not, in the beginning, we did not exchange that to this request list. So now we have. So now you can go from 2 to 15 columns. You can, take off things down to 2 different columns, which really makes it helpful for you guys, especially when you need the real estate on the screen for those tablets and mobile devices that you're working on. So you're not scrolling all the time trying to find out where everything is. You now have these options from 2 to 15 instead of 8 to 15, okay, on each one of these. And you can set these, as you know, each one of these tabs here has its own configuration set, okay. All right. So that's kind of exciting. I appreciate those insights from the customers that have requested that, because that's just a major step forward in just making it simplified for the users on the user end. Okay, some of the item search. So as we know, if we create a ticket, I'm going to go full screen again. And when you create a ticket, we can go incident. We can put in a customer, and you can see we now have the scrollable drop down for these. But even more so, you don't have to remember what the category name was. They're here in the list, so you can select these as you do your search. So this is real exciting for being able to get to that particular product or that particular item as soon as possible, right? Being able to locate that and identify that immediately. Um, Even I was having a hard time. What do I have enabled? Hardware's in? No, hardware wasn't enabled. It was actually something else, peripherals or something. So that's done, and it's in all the different types of requests. If we go to quick requests, we can see here that we have the categories here as well. The search items is scrollable now, so you can scroll these. If you put in a customer, we also have the item unknown. So if you have the setting where you display unknown, typically and you create a request, typically the request list, let's see if I have one. The request list would show item blank. It would show blank here and not unknown. And so now we have an identifier for unknown that shows up here. And that's just, if it's blank, if you're not visible to it, it's harder to, remember what's there, or you might pass it up quickly. So that's another advantage of 8.3.1 is being able to see the unknown list. But again, if we go, we did the even the quick calls. If we went to quick call, we can see. We'll select one. I don't think I have any items in this one. Visual. There's a designated item for this one, but it would be there would be a list here as well to be able to see. Oh, here we go. Printer issue. Here we go. So you can see the scrollable list for items. And that goes true also for customers. So if we log in as a customer and I'm placing a new request and I have a printer issue, I could then search item. Why isn't it there? Let's see. HP's there. The item drop down wasn't there. I was surprised to see that. But yeah, it should be, unless it is. I'm in customer. Let me go incident. Oh, the category drop down is here, which I'm not certain that they were there before. Here's your drop downs. Let's check out service requests. Okay. All right. And then you could also obviously just search on the item. See if you can find it. Or if you did, I think I have BO. Yeah, so we have that scrollable too. So your items are there. All right, makes sense. So being able to find that particular item faster. One request we had was, here's your unknowns. So item type is unknown. So you're able to see that and identify with it a little bit easier. Okay. The one thing I'm going to mention this real quick is I happen to change the colors just to show how versatile it is. Okay, and this has been a while. These are CSS changes, but just to show you that it can be modified any way your color scheme is that your corporation may need. So yeah, I did this ugly on purpose, but that's to show you those particular details. Okay. It also tells me which system I'm on as well, right? Okay, let's go back over here. So the self-populated fields are there, the drop downs, request item drop downs, also the KBA advanced. So if we went to our knowledge base, go back over here, we'll go to the knowledge base. And if we're creating a new, or if we're looking at an original, at one that's already there, if we pick a category and we'll go hardware, and we could just say that's fine. We do have the advanced search item here, and of course you can then you have your automatic drop downs for all the hardware categories or types here. So we've enhanced that just to make it that much quicker as far as being able to identify that particular item. Okay. I think this came in 8.3, but this drop down came in 8.3.1. We enhanced that. All right. So good. A couple of this, again, some of the simplified things. I'm going to move this over because I'm going to go full screen. A couple of simplified things. Again, if it's not labeled or in front of you, you won't know about it, or you might pass it up easily. But if we look at, for instance, service request lists, you have these actions over here, and we had some customers that didn't realize what this was. Gives it just a little bit more. We added these 3 dots with the hover over so you can actually see the request actions. It's over in the corner, but we added that so that you can see the label behind the particular column, okay, as we do with the others. All right. So, and that's also done over in the knowledge base as well. We've added that over here. So just like you have attachments, just a little quick easy because you can do different things on those lines just straight from there without having to go into them. Also print preview. So we had some customers that were saying when I go to my incident or I go to my knowledge base article, this says print. Well, I don't necessarily want to print, if they hover over. If you actually select it, you get a print preview. So we relabeled that. But the other thing that we noticed that wasn't there, a customer called out, hey, what about a close date? If we're doing a report, we want to know if it's closed or not. And that way, when we go to print it, we have all the details. Simple things like that. If you guys have those, again, Ideas Exchange is great. We have a few more coming in 8.4 that we're going to be doing similar to this, so that we can enhance this that much more for you. We talked a little bit about the unknown label, and then one thing that was really interesting was this. Oh no, not this one. Let's go here. Let me go to my requests. Let me go to incidents. Let's see if I'm on a team here. I don't think I am. I'll have to log in as Clark Kent. Let me log in as another user. So if I go to one of my tasks and I want to change this to somebody else, this list, some organizations have large layer 1s, large layer 2s, and just a list of people. This list is now alphabetized. So, and I only say that it's kind of like, well, duh, yeah, well, we didn't have that in ascending order. So you guys pointing that out makes it much easier for you to identify this particular issue, and we go ahead and we got it taken care of for you. So now if you do have large lists, and those of you that are listening, you'll go, oh, thank goodness, because searching through that list could be painful, right? So we did enhance that a little bit there, alphabetizing that. Yeah, so let's see. Any questions, please shout them out. Those are some of the things that we've got set aside. Some of the things that are coming up in the next release is going to be things like AAF, Advanced Authentication, and we'll entitle you to the AAF Lite from NetIQ, the Micro Focus product, so that you can actually do advanced authentication and not have to spend any more money to get that done. Now, there was a question that was asked from a customer. If I have ZENworks, which will soon have AAF, and I have ZSD, which will soon have AAF capabilities, do I have to put up 2 different AAF servers? And the answer is that I know of, no. So you just use the same. Okay. So that's one of the major things that's coming in our next release um, for ZENworks Service Desk. A couple of the other things, let me pull up my file here that we're going to have for you to look forward to are this particular configuration is going to be starting to be modernized. Okay, so when you have configuration and you're going to items, it's going to have a similar look that we have here as a modern look. It changes the coding, which means it's more the coding is more flexible to make changes faster. So we're going to be endorsing that for the configuration setup. It's going to be a two-phase. And if we log in, actually, if we go over here, I think we can see configuration. We're going to start out on this side here for vendors, manufacturers, outage, and snapshots. And then phase 2 will be the items, types, and categories. And the reason why is because there's a lot of tabs in there. There's a lot of relationships we have to deal with when we go into the items, types, and categories. We have to have all of these set up. So we're going to basically be doing the vendors, manufacturers, outages, get those under our belt to modify those, and then we'll easily link them up to, some of them will be done by linking them up to this particular, as we modernize these, the outages, snapshots, those types of things. So you can expect that also. We're going to be adding hopefully some variables. Somebody's asked regarding, plenty of you have asked regarding the templates and having, when an email goes out, so if we went to setup email templates, and let's say we have a close request or a open, I actually want to do an open request, which is next page, create an incident. Having one of these templates be an email template, because right now the email that goes out, you get the link to the portal, you don't get the link to the ticket. Okay, so we're working on things, just those details that will speed up your processes faster. We're going to be working on some widgets. Another thing that I'm starting to learn, and you'll see some videos on, is being able to do reports in here and being able to customize your reports. For instance, over here, if I go to reports and I go to incident reports, I think I created one, default team report. So you can do technician tickets. And if we do create, I don't have any in there. Let's see, create. So we have the tickets. You can actually list them out for the different teams. So I'm getting into developing that and understanding more about it so I can do a video on that. Let me go here. No, I want to go requests, incidents. Yeah, incident by tech of team. And we'll go default. Okay, that's not a good team to select. Okay, so you can see what's happened for the different members of the team. These are actually team members. Okay, system user, roadrunner, and IT supervisor. Okay, and that gives you the totals here. So understanding how this works, and a lot of those, there's a lot of canned ones, but understanding really how the report builder works so that you can build your own reports. I'm trying to do device history and those types of things. So look forward to some of those, as well as those of you, we're getting a lot of training. We've always been receiving training. We're working hard, me, Ron, and Oliver, if you know the other two, to actually get some technician training, some administration training, at the very bare minimum, the basics, which would be, what does this screen involve? And when I open up a ticket, what do these components involve? So we're working on training for that, chopping them up into little chunks and being able to let you know what you can do in each one of these pages. And not forgetting like the filters is collapsed, remembering the filters is here, and those types of things. And when you go through the filter, what does it show you? So we're working on getting some of that training going, and just breaking it up for request lists, and then a request for an incident and a request for a service request or a knowledge base. What is details in here? Um, and we're expanding out the store a little bit. So what that means is, since now we have dynamic forms for store, if we go to customer and we go to our store, do I have anything in this one? No, I picked the wrong one. Let me go to my other system. This one. That's 87. This is 87. This is, here we go. Okay. So I've developed this particular system to be more than just a service desk ticketing system. I also have teams. If we look at our user teams for facilities, and I'm logged in as Clark, so Clark can't see teams. But facilities, if we wanted to see, maybe we want to just provision, so a user wants some provisioning, they can apply the filter and they can just go ahead and say, as a technician or as a user, I want somebody to watch my tickets. I'm going to go ahead and request a delegate for my tickets. And then you can do the dynamic forms to be able to say when you're on leave, through whatever, and then fill out this form however you want to, for any comments and so forth. So this is all dynamic forms, but this is quick calls and store items. So we're working on developing that out. Things like, if a phone request, is it new or is it onboarding? If it's onboarding, you have different, let's say it's onboarding and it's a desktop. Well, it's single line, multi-line, or it's a wall mount or a mobile. So your dynamic forms help there. So building out this store, we're looking for ideas on the store. Had a customer call the other day, that we're involved with, and they're like, I would like to have this broken out to services and then tickets. So if I need an app, that's a service, right? And then if I have a problem, then I can just open up a ticket. Okay. Like maybe my HVAC went out, right? So I want to open up an incident for that, but a service request for getting an app because I have to purchase it and so forth, or ordering a filter, right? Or I need my cubicle partition set up. Okay. So those are some of the details that we're looking at for 8.4 and beyond. We have a lot of details regarding the small things that I mentioned. Let's see. Some DB migration utilities coming up, so you can go between different Postgres, MSSQL, MySQL, those types of things. Home dashboard modernization, some here, as well as in the technician portal, the home. And then we have some widgets that we're working on, so we can get more details on widgets. Okay. Again, if you could use the ideas exchange, it really helps us, even if it's a small blurb on, I would like XYZ because I need to give a little use case on it. And that the more information, the better, so we can understand your use case and try and get these in here, because we want to make this the best for you. We're also going to be modernizing the alerts. Okay. So that way they're more modern, and when you go to alerts, you can easily see what they are. This will be a modern setup. Okay. So that's Service Desk 8.3.1 plus what's coming in the future. I hope that's helpful for you. We're doing the best we can to try and keep up with your requests and put in what you guys are asking for. The votes really help, so go out there and peruse, take a half hour and peruse through the ideas exchange, and you'll be able to give us a better idea that what the demand is for these different features and putting them in the system for you. Okay. But again, AAF is going to be big, and then the modernization are the two big ones for this next one. But this last one, we have had a great list of things. We're also trying to keep it down. The other thing about getting everything into the system and features for you is time frame, right? We want to make sure that we stay on the 6-month cadence for you, so that you don't have to wait a year in order to get those enhancements and fixes. So do know that that's what we're working on, and we are limited in time. Obviously, time is a big resource. So, but we're doing our best to keep those up. And I appreciate everybody that has contributed or will contribute. Do know that we're watching those things and we take them seriously. Otherwise, if there's no questions in chat, Don, I know you jumped in. Appreciate you attending, and those others that have attended, we appreciate you being here. Would love to. We'll see you in a couple weeks. I think what we're doing next time. These are all my slides. Is going to be. We're going to do a little more ZSD on automating tickets as one, the quick calls, two, the dynamic forms, and three, scheduling tickets. So if you're doing maintenance and you want to remember every quarterly you have this maintenance on this particular router or this particular room or HVAC machine or whatever it is, you can actually schedule those and have a checkoff list ready and ready to go, so that it automatically issues out a week ahead of time. You can then set up change control. It can create a change control ticket for you, and then after everything's approved, it can move forward and actually be in your in the system, so you know when you've done maintenance as well as what's been done when they close it. So that's some of the automating ticket processes and tasks that we're going to be doing next time. And I think after that, we're going to probably be having the ZENworks Configuration Management Update 3, what's new. Okay, and we'll bring on the PMs for that so that they can give you in detail what's going on with those. But that's what I have for you today. I appreciate everybody joining in. Oh, Raymond, how many user sources can be defined? Yes, you can always ask questions. Thanks for asking questions. We're going over to user sources. Let me go over to this system here, and if we go to setup, you can set up multiple user sources. I don't know what the limitation has been. I've had eDirectory and 2 Active Directories in a particular system. You could just create Active Directory. You can do multiples. It doesn't have to be one. So I hope that helps you. Can you add Azure AD user source as a second user source next to your? They can be on there both together. So, and that's my attempt. I have an Azure AD. I just got an account for it, so I'm going to try and set that up so we can have multiples. So you can see that in play. But yes, you can do multiples. Okay. Good questions. I appreciate those questions. If there's any others, thanks, Raymond, for shouting those out, because that is the new feature set in ZSD at this time. I'm glad we're at the cloud at this point. Hopefully we can expand it beyond, but also not just user sources, but email and doing the MS Modern authentication for O365 and those types of things. All right. Yeah, I'll be on a few minutes, but I want to say thank you to everybody that's joined us, and I hope it's been effective for you and you have gone away with some good details. So I appreciate everybody that's on, and you guys have a great 2 weeks. We'll see you in a couple weeks and do a little bit more about ZSD. I'll try and have that Azure AD set up by then, and maybe we can just cover that real quick. Thank you for joining us, everybody. You guys, I appreciate you being here and being with us today and spending your time with me. All right. You guys have a great 2 weeks. I'll be on the next couple minutes to be available if any other questions trickle in, but I appreciate you guys. Take care.